Hi guys, so RMT General Secretary Mick Lynch had some strong words for Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, when he appeared on the Sophie Ridge show on Sky News. Now Mick's union isn't affiliated with the Labour Party, but that didn't stop him from giving Starmer some advice. Mick wants the party to focus more on wealth inequality and the problems facing ordinary people like the cost of living crisis. Lynch said that Starmer is afraid to use the S word, socialism. Well, is he right?
They respect the stand we've taken, that our members have taken, and they understand that somebody's put in a slightly different argument to the professional politicians, which I think is a bit of a shame. And it's a shame that Labour and others can't show that they're distinct from the kind of consensus that's got us into this trouble, where working people are struggling. The cost of living crisis seems to be ignored by the political class to a certain extent.
And you put everyone in that? Labour,
yes, I do. I don't think Labour's doing enough. We will be critical of Labour when they don't do the right stuff, and we'll be supportive on the occasions that they do. But at the minute, I think Keir Starmer and his team have got to show some clear water, some clear red water between themselves and the Daily Mail and the Telegraph, and themselves and the Conservatives. And at the minute, many people can't spot the difference, and that's a shame for somebody who's probably as talented as Keir Starmer is. He's got to show that he's on the side of working people and progressive politics, and I don't think we're seeing that at the moment.
Why don't you think you're seeing it? Do you think it's because he is focused on winning the election, or because he just doesn't really believe it?
He's got 5, what are they, missions. Nobody knows what they are. Nobody understands them. Nobody could remember the 5 missions. He should be saying something about workers' rights. He should say stuff about funding the NHS, National Care Service, looking after people who are struggling in the housing market, council houses for the masses, controlling rents, addressing all sorts of stuff about what's going to happen in the imbalance in our society. He's not saying any of that. He won't dare mention the word socialism. I want to hear that word mentioned frequently, and I want to see a redistribution of wealth in our society, because there are a lot of very wealthy people and there are too many very poor people. And now the people in the middle are being squeezed as well, with rents and mortgages skyrocketing. He doesn't seem to be on the side of the people of this country. I think he could be on the side of the people of this country, but he's got to show it to us before the election.
Look, a little in defence of Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, they have mentioned these things. Not all of them. Of course, they won't mention socialism in the same way they won't mention Brexit. But they have talked about energy prices, they've talked about education, they've talked about the NHS, but none of these policies are radical. That's the difference. They're not attention grabbing. And I think there's a method behind that. There's a reason behind that. And it's not to rock the boat. Unfortunately, with first past the post, we come back to the same problem as always. Political parties are chasing marginal seats. Political parties are chasing a small cohort of voters they believe are necessary to flip from Conservatives to the Labour Party or vice versa. And this is a huge problem. Until proportional representation is brought in, you're going to have politics like this, where political parties are chasing a continually smaller section of the voting bloc. And that's why Starmer won't present anything radical. It's all pretty bland. And he knows, if you're looking at the polling, he knows that the public are turned off by the Tories. The Tories are losing support by the day. So if he was to present something radical, it could harm that lead. It's sad, but that's the reality of the situation. Do I agree with that? Of course I don't. I would prefer to see radical policies. I think Britain needs radical policies. People are relying more and more on food banks. The NHS is on its knees. Businesses can't access the workers they need. Public services are going down the toilet. The quality of water is literally going down the toilet. So there are so many problems that need to be resolved, and they need radical change. They need radical policies to resolve them. But you're not going to get that from the Labour Party as part of their manifesto, because they believe that, look, if they don't rock the boat, if they don't say anything too crazy, they're going to win the next general election. Because as I said before, and I hate saying this once again, this is not a vote for Labour, this is a vote against the Conservatives. This is what the next general election will be. People are not turning up at the voting booth to vote for the Labour Party. they're voting against the Conservatives. And they'd be happy to put their tick on the Labour Party or on Liberal Democrats or Greens or SNP or anyone else if they believe that's going to keep the Tories out. People will not be voting based on policies. Now, I could be wrong, and the Labour Party could be wrong in this approach, but it's looking more and more likely to be the case. What needs to happen is radical reform. Wealth inequality is growing, not declining, meaning the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and the middle class are moving into the section of where the poor are as well. So something has to happen when Labour gets into power, but they're going to take over a poison chalice. It's going to be a very difficult economic situation to resolve, and with Brexit being a drag on the economy and the problems connected to Brexit, it's going to be also difficult for Labour to resolve that as well. But waiting for Keir Starmer to talk about Brexit or socialism, well, you'll be holding your breath for a long time. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.